Hello, hello. We are back with more Death Battle, and this is an interesting lineup. I was kind of scrolling through the different Death Battles, and I saw these two, and I'm like, okay, I gotta watch this. I've actually reacted to both of these series on my channel, so you can go and watch it if you want. I loved both series, especially Avatar: The Last Airbender. I have to say that one is like one of my top 3 favorite series of all time. But Aang versus Edward Elric. I do wonder like why they pick those two to like fight against each other. But yeah, my bet so far before knowing the description, I feel like I gotta go with Aang. I mean, like, Ed can really like pop off. Like, Ed can be real creative, and Ed can, with his alchemy create a bunch of stuff and defend himself and etc. And he could do a bunch of stuff. But I just think Aang is kind of him. Like, Aang is kind of OP. But yeah, let's see. Maybe I'll stand corrected. I don't know. Honestly, I've been getting all of these bets wrong. But yeah, let me see the description first, and then let's do it.
The elements make up every aspect of the world we live in, and no average person can tame them.
I guess it's like the elements, but like Aang is just a master.
Like Aang, the Avatar.
And Edward Elric, the Full Metal Alchemist. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Water. Earth. Fire. Air.
Heart!
Go planet!
Once the 4 nations lived in harmony, and some of their citizens could even learn to bend their nation's element. But only the Avatar could master all 4, and it's their duty to protect the balance between these nations.
And since there's always gotta be an Avatar around, a new one is born whenever the last one dies.
But everything changed when the
Fire Nation attacked.
Attempting to conquer the other 3 nations, the Avatar would inevitably be their greatest obstacle.
Man, they'd even go after a kid?
Living among the
well,
air
he's
nomads,
112.
Aang was an energetic and dutiful 12 years old when he learned of his destiny. He was the newest incarnation of the Avatar.
But he totally wussed out, ran away from home, and got frozen in ice for 100 years. What the hell? That's not what I'd do if I found out I was an awesome elemental badass. I'd definitely find a way to make money off that.
Boomstick, he's 12. But running away actually saved his life, as the Fire Nation knew the next Avatar would be an air nomad and slaughtered them all in a horrific surprise attack.
But the poor kid wouldn't be stuck in ice forever. He was eventually rescued by some new friends
Only
and
100
began
years.
his quest to learn the other elements and save the world. And as an air nomad, he can really bend the wind to his will.
He can use air bending to create whirlwinds and tornadoes or slice through solid stone.
And he can fly! Whee!
Well, it's not exactly flying, Boomstick. What he actually does is manipulate the air currents to keep aloft. That's why he carries a glider, complete with snacks.
Oh, well, I'm sure that'll come in handy.
Whatever, if it looks like a duck and sounds like a duck, it's a duck. Or I guess, flying avatar guy.
But ducks actually can fly. Anyway, Aang can use air in pretty much every aspect of his life. Like for shields, increasing his speed, improving agility, adjusting his body temperature, and even focusing his breath to use as an attack.
After he learned waterbending from Paku and Katara, Aang can make whips, knives, and literal tsunamis. Hey, I can do that too. Just give me a pool and watch this cannonball fly. Does that mean I'm a waterbender?
Sure. Waterbenders can also manipulate steam and ice.
Just like how
Imagine being a master in all those.
Boomstick the Wet will use my powers to swim through this frozen block.
I still think Aang's gonna destroy. I gotta see it. I need a refresher on Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh wow, I'm just bursting with envy.
Bending
Also,
powers,
Appa is S tier.
Ha! Success!
Like airbending, waterbending requires a nearby source of water to use, like a pond or a filled bottle. The same goes for earthbending, which Aang learned from his mentor Toph.
Earthbending is all about throwing rocks at people, and a bunch of other cool stuff, like making walls and earthquakes and causing the ground to swallow you up. Which is kinda creepy, actually.
Last but certainly not least, Aang learned the art of firebending from his longtime rival, Prince
Yes.
Zuko. Unlike the other arts, firebenders can actually create fire to use at will.
What the hell?
Firebending is so goddamn powerful. It's even got the deadliest bending technique of all, shooting lightning.
Well, only the most advanced firebenders can cast lightning, which is usually an instant kill move. While Aang never learned the move itself, he has learned how to redirect it through his body.
But even after learning the 4 elements, Aang got to meet one last master bender.
Who taught him the art of manipulating a person's life energy, the purest form of bending.
It's super dangerous though, and one mistake could tear up Aang's soul.
And with it, Aang defeated the Fire Lord and brought peace to the world at large.
Well, with that and with his super form, the Avatar State.
Yeah.
In the Avatar State, Aang's bending abilities grow immensely.
This is what I'm talking about.
This
if he's gonna be in this form, how is he gonna lose?
All previous Avatar incarnations. Though it is extremely risky, as
That's
dying while
true.
in the Avatar State ends the cycle of reincarnation permanently.
Why would he care if he's dead anyway?
Yeah,
Whatever.
exactly.
The coolest thing about the Avatar State is it makes you glow, like this. Behold!
How are you doing that?
Oh, I drank a bunch of glow sticks.
You need to go to the doctor, like right now.
My liver's processed way worse than this.
Well, with or without the Avatar State, Aang is plenty powerful. He has the ability to move gigantic stone columns and even carve canyons around an entire city.
Not only has he survived hits from earthbending kings and massive explosions, he threw this gigantic column of rock at the Fire Lord.
To get the column's mass, we compared Aang's height against it and determined it must weigh 9,500 tons.
Aang's super fast too. With airbending, he can run on water.
Which, given his size, requires a movement speed of well over 67 miles per hour.
He used airbending to block a giant column-destroying explosive attack from the best-named character on the show.
Combustion Man.
Combustion Man!
Yeah, I feel like
he's proven he could redirect lightning from the Fire Lord himself. Taking into account the distance between them and how far Aang's arm had to move to catch the lightning, he would have to react at least 155 times
And Ed
faster
can
than
do.
sound.
He is pretty unused to violence, though. I mean, he's a vegetarian pacifist for crying out loud.
Hold
but
up,
while
one
he
second.
may seem
Oh my gosh, why is... Sorry.
like just a kid, Aang still saved the world and led it into a peaceful future. To him, bending is elementary.
Yeah, but like,
If you want to be a bender, you have to let go of
Ed
fear.
did the same.
Alchemists of old once tried to turn lead into gold with not great results. But in the country of Amestris, the ancient science of alchemy is actually possible by using the Earth's natural energy to reshape the molecular structure of various objects.
And by drawing a circle thingy.
A transmutation circle, which most alchemists use except for the youthful prodigy, Edward Elric.
Oh, what a little badass.
Careful, Boomstick, he's a bit touchy about his size.
Hey, if I lost my mom like he did, I'd get mad at the little stuff too. But Ed and his brother Alphonse figured they could bring her back with alchemy. So they went for it, but things went south real fast. You know how people say they'd give an arm and a leg for something? Well, Ed literally did.
He did,
And poor
he
Al
did.
lost his whole body. Luckily, Ed managed to stick his brother's soul in a suit of armor. But still, yikes.
This horrible experience has forever marked the two brothers. No one is meant to transmute
I'm getting
the human
chills
soul, and
just
the
thinking
boys
about
were
this
lucky
again.
just to escape with their lives.
But he got something good out of it, like super secret knowledge, including how to do alchemy without a circle thingy. He just has to clap instead. So, worth it?
Like he's praying.
With these new abilities, Ed and Alphonse began their quest to restore their bodies. Specifically, they sought the incredible power of a Philosopher's Stone, believing it to be their only chance. Eventually, Ed joined the military, and thanks to his amazing potential, he was named by the Fuhrer the Full Metal Alchemist.
What? Adolf Hitler?
Nah, it's just Bradley. He's okay. Until he isn't.
Oh my gosh, the
Spoilers!
voice
Also,
actor
since Ed lost a couple limbs,
in the
he got
English
them
dub
replaced
for
with
him was so
automail,
good.
kinda like my leg.
Automail is made from incredibly durable metal, ranging from his original steel one, to a gas-powered one, to his best version consisting of a mix of aluminum and carbon. Apart from being durable metal prosthetics, Ed's automail limbs function just like normal ones. He can even reshape his arm as a weapon.
So he can turn it into swords and saws and stuff, increase its durability by hardening its makeup, or turn it into an umbrella. Ah, truly a limb of many talents.
But at the end of the day, Ed's true talent lies not in sword fighting or umbrella holding, but the art of alchemy.
Yeah,
he can do all sorts of crazy things with all the elements.
A whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, he could be so creative.
Wants, like spears and shields.
So long as he follows the rule of equivalent exchange. Anything created with alchemy must have a source of equal value and cannot be made fundamentally different. For example, lead can be molded into a statue, but it cannot be turned into water.
Yeah, he has his limitations.
There are 3 principles needed to use alchemy well. Comprehension,
which means you gotta understand what the thing you're using is made of.
Destruction,
breaking stuff down.
And reconstruction,
putting stuff back together.
Ed is only limited by the materials at hand and his imagination. At his full potential, he can do almost anything. He can purify water, create ammonium gas from ammonium nitrate, repair entire houses, and transform a gun into a trumpet.
Don't you ever try and do that with any of my guns. Anyway, Ed's also learned destruction alchemy, which does exactly what you think it does, make a big ol' kaboom.
Yeah.
Ed's used it to destroy
he doesn't
stuff
kill
like
anyone,
automail,
but then technically Aang doesn't kill anyone either.
To explode people's heads.
So using destruction alchemy, Ed should be able to destroy something like this on a molecular level.
Ha! Or you could just do that.
Anyway, with all of his abilities, Ed has done some incredibly impressive things.
Not only has he blocked gunfire from a Gatling gun after it started firing, he's dodged a pistol from nearly point-blank range, and his automail arm even took a bite from a lion-headed chimera.
Damn.
It was totally fine.
Assuming this chimera has a similar
that was
bite
his
force
other
to that of
arm.
a real lion, that means Ed's arm stood up to a force of 1,000 pounds per square inch.
He's created a gigantic cannon and then survived that cannon exploding while he was standing on it. And then he survived being on top of a huge boulder exploding too.
We can measure the boulder's explosion against Ed's size to get an approximate energy output. With a radius of 36 feet, this blast must have been equivalent to over 100 tons of TNT.
How's that for equivalent exchange, bitches? He also survived an explosion that took out most of a 10-story building.
Even apart from being tough, Ed has shown considerable strength when using alchemy.
Like when he created a gigantic golem to crush his opponent.
By measuring the size of the stone golem's thumb, comparing it to the size of the average human's thumb,
Was this only in the
using
manga
that
or
scale
something?
to estimate the size
Yeah,
of the golem, that gives us an estimated weight of over 3,000 metric tons.
All this without any Philosopher's Stone, because it turns out those things are really
bad.
messed up.
Yeah.
Right. Philosopher's Stones
Human
are
lives.
extremely powerful and can be used in many different ways. Kimberly the Crimson Lotus Alchemist, for example, used one to create a massive explosion equal to 157 kilotons of TNT. However, it turns out that these stones are composed of imprisoned human souls. So Ed and Al vowed to avoid them on principle. Although Ed can boost his alchemic power in a similar manner by drawing on his own life force, increasing his potential at the cost of shortening his lifespan. But that's what Ed ultimately had to learn, what it truly means to let something go. And so he found another way to revive Al's body, sacrificing his own power for the sake of family.
Aw, what a nice guy. But all in all, so long as Ed knows what he's trying to transmute, he's an amazing force to be reckoned with.
Now let's go home. Together.
Chills. It is such a beautiful story, honestly. So much happens.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
I still think
But
Aang.
first, thanks to Blue Apron, I've become a food vendor.
Yeah, I'm okay.
By now,
I've actually gone Blue Apron before. Just for fun.
Sorry, Momo. You're just too little.
Little? Who are you calling a pipsqueak, you stupid hairless kid?
Nobody?
Oh, that's
I'll
funny.
show you!
Come on now. Yo, Aang's not even trying. Like, Ed's kind of trying a little bit. love the Opera posters. Wow, you see? He counters pretty well. Like, he can be really creative.
You know, there are actually a lot of advantages to being short. Like, you'll never hit your head on door frames, and,
I'm still growing!
Dude, the voice actor's pretty good. It sounds so similar. Oh my gosh! Yo!
Oh no! I'm sorry!
I know, but like, dude.
A classic misdirection.
Uh-huh.
That's
Ooh.
advantage Elric! Ha!
You see, yeah, come on now. Aang's an earthbender.
How's this for small? What kind of alchemy is that?
Not alchemy. He's a master.
Okay, no more clappy magic.
But that's all he can do. Oh, shit.
No, my cabbages!
I won't lose you again.
Ooh, lose who again? Won't lose you again? He didn't die.
There
Who
you
talking
are.
about? Oh.
Nice try, Shorty!
It makes you feel like he died when he said that.
Can't
His
believe
staff?
that worked.
Oh, this is it. This is it. Yeah, like this isn't. This is GG. You gonna tell me this is not GG?
This ends now.
It doesn't now. I feel like it will. Like Ed, and he can't even clap anymore too. Like he's over.
At least I'm taller than you.
Worth it.
You left me no choice.
I mean, he was right. He was still growing.
Looks like Ed didn't have a leg to stand on. Or arm, I guess.
Ed may have been more quick-witted and inventive, and he certainly had more combat experience. But Aang's bending abilities were far more versatile and readily
Aang
available
would have gained far
than
more
combat
combat experience than
Yeah,
Ed
it had cool
once
stuff
entered
like
the Avatar
cannons
state.
and gun trumpets, but
True.
combat alchemy.
Yeah. Wow. All the previous avatars across 10,000 years. Damn.
Yeah,
I guess
it
so.
had cool stuff like cannons and gun.
Depending on interpretation, Ed has some debatable lightning timing feats. They are less clear and consistent than Aang's, true, and therefore less reliable for an argument. Yeah, it doesn't feel like the lightning in this show is the same as like the lightning in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Aang's better mobility and seismic sense would still give him the edge, regardless. Yeah.
Trumpets, but Aang was fast enough to react to lightning, which
He
is
could
way
redirect it
faster than dodging a measly bullet.
Even so.
Recall how Ed survived an explosion that destroyed most of a 10-story building. By examining the size of the building and thus the volume of the conical explosion, this blast must have equaled about 30 kilotons
Aang could survive
of
more
TNT.
than that. You're gonna
Cool,
tell me?
but Aang did way more when
Yeah.
he carved up a circle around that city in Avatar state.
The force to blast such a huge ravine around the city of Yu Dao was a massive undertaking. By measuring the width, length, and depth of the affected area compared to the size of the city, we found it would take almost 160 kilotons of TNT to pull that off.
Yeah.
More than 5 times greater than Ed's best durability feat. So Aang definitely
believe-
had the stuff to crush Ed's
Yeah.
automobile arm and the rest of him.
Granted, Ed could reach
Like, I
this
remember
sort of
this
power
from
by
with
sacrificing
Ed.
his life force.
When, like, he
Remember
had, like,
Kingdom's
a-
explosion, the one
he got, like,
empowered by a
stabbed or- like,
philosopher's
not
stone,
stabbed,
a
but he got
blast
impaled
worth
by something.
157 kilotons of TNT? That's almost identical to Aang's feat. And theoretically, Ed could have been capable of this level of power. Theoretically. However, a philosopher's stone uses many souls, while Ed could only draw from his one. Not to mention, drawing from his own life force meant his power-up had a very short and dangerous duration limit compared to the Avatar state, which has no
That's
such
true.
limit. But even so,
That's
Ed's
true.
tactics and creativity
Yeah,
kept him in the fight.
Ed
Yet the
has more
Avatar's
limitations.
Speed, power, and versatility was too much for him.
Yeah.
Aang may be a pacifist in canon and would hardly kill anyone, but unleashing his full power is a sight to behold.
Just when Ed thought he had the hang of it, he
Hang of it.
missed the mark.
The winner is Avatar Aang.
Thanks for watching this episode of Deathbattle.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
want the
yeah.
battle
This is
music
the finally guessed correctly. Finally. I think this is the first time. I kind of usually change my bets because I'm like, I just really don't know. And I'm so indecisive, but this time I was firm and I stuck with it. At points I was like, oh shit, like maybe like he can like counter things, like he is creative, like who knows, like there is a chance. But I'm just like, no, like Aang is just so OP. Like Aang is just genuinely like more powerful. Like that's really all there is to it. And then yeah, Ed has way more limitations, which they've kind of demonstrated here. But damn, yeah, pretty good. Let me know what the next series I should watch. Yeah, I just like was scrolling and I saw this one. I was like, whoa, this is such an interesting lineup. I kind of get, yeah, now I get obviously why they held them up against each other, but to me it does, I don't know, I just felt like Aang was just stronger than Ed in my opinion. So I just like, that's why it was like a little confusing to me. I'm like, I don't know, like I don't think it was that equal of a lineup. But yeah, like they are, like the elements are using the elements, and like obviously Ed is really strong and creative and can do a frick load. But you know, Aang's just him. That's all there is to it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Melon now.